In Penal Code Section 187, California law defines murder as killing another person with what the law calls malice aforethought. Malice aforethought means either an intent to kill the person or a reckless disregard for known risk, a reckless disregard for human life. Now, there's obvious examples of murder like shooting somebody, stabbing somebody, hiring a hitman to kill an enemy. But there's less obvious examples. There's times when someone can be convicted of murder when it really looks like an accident. For example, a drug dealer who sells cocaine to a client and that person ODs and dies. The drug dealer could be charged with murder for consciously disregarding risk to human life. Or a drunk driver who has been convicted already and knows the risks of drunk driving, who nevertheless drives while intoxicated and causes an accident and someone is killed. That drunk driver could be charged with murder. And in fact, there are many people in California state prisons serving life sentences for just such situations. Now, when we get a murder case, there are 4 typical defenses that we look to. One is misidentification, that our client was wrongly identified and really somebody else committed the murder. Now, keep in mind, misidentification is the #1 reason for wrongful convictions across the United States. More people are wrongly convicted of murder and other crimes because of misidentification than all other reasons combined. Another typical defense in a murder case is self-defense. Maybe our client did commit the killing, but only because his life was threatened, and so he acted in the lawful and appropriate self-defense. Another defense is what we call not guilty by reason of insanity. If our client suffered from some mental defect at the time of the killing and really didn't appreciate what he was doing, then that can be a defense that can get the person exonerated. And finally, in a situation where the evidence is overwhelming that our client did commit the killing, we can argue that it really wasn't murder, it was more like what the law calls manslaughter. It was something that occurred in the heat of passion. And manslaughter carries a potential sentencing range of only 3 to 11 years in state prison, whereas murder carries life in prison. So to the extent that you have to choose between murder and manslaughter, it's much better to be convicted of the lesser offense of manslaughter.